Hi, this is Bonnie again, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a metal type frame using Sherri Baldy's dies. And this one is beautiful, and it is available, and I'll have it scrolling across the top. And this is like has the lace heart look to it, and we're going to be making this, as I showed you at the beginning of the video, how to make this metal looking frame. Just using kitchen foil and a piece of cardstock. You are going to be needing enough foil so that you can put your die on top of it. And I made so I make it a little bit thicker. And what you will do next is I just used some Mod Podge dimensional, but you can use any glue to put that, to keep these together, so that when we die cut this, it's really not going to cut it, it's just going to emboss it. We're embossing it today, and it'll keep it together. So that's what you do first, is you put some of that, and you're going to let that dry a little bit. And then what you do next is you're going to be putting this foil on top of the cardstock, which we can do right now because they both can go ahead and dry. You can use any glue. This just happened to be what I had handy, and it's going to work because I've already done it one time using it. And you just spread that out just like that. And this is what you're going to be taking to the to your die cutting machine. So I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, and then bring you to the die cutting machine. Alright, so the first thing you're going to cut out before you cut out your frame is you want to cut out the center, because if you cut the center out after, you will lose your embossing a little bit. So what I do is I center this on top of my foil, and I put another die. This did not come with Sherri's die. I have this die from Lifestyle Crafts, but find any die you can that will fit inside, and that's how you're going to set it up. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to run this through just like you would anything you're going to be cutting. And so that will go right on top, just like your, oh, and I am using a grand caliber. So put this together just like you would your sandwiches to do a die cut. So that goes on top, and then I'm just going to go ahead and run that through the machine, and I will have the window to my frame, and that's the first thing that you need to do. And I'll show you, and I am going to save the window to my frame to use for another project because it's going to make a really neat, another neat embossing. So this is what you're going to be getting, and a little bit of the glue leaked through. And that's fine because I want to make sure the glue is in there, just squeeze it out. So that's going to be my window, like I said. And then the next sandwich you're going to use is going to be the sandwich to emboss your foil using Sherri Baldy's die. So you're going to set it on just like that, and turn it over just like you normally would. And in this case, we're going to be using, I should really get a piece of tape to keep that in place. I don't like it to move. So I'm going to get a piece of tape. Okay. So again, I'm going to put this on my base plate like I normally would if I'm going to be embossing something using my die. Then the next layer will be the rubber mat, and then my bee embossing plate. Again, you need to do it based upon the machine you're going to be using. So the next thing I'm doing now is I'm getting my grand caliber and I'm feeding that through. I'm going to lift up my camera just a little bit so you can see this better. Okay. So again, put it together just like you would if you're going to emboss something. And we're going to run that through. And you can hear it cracking a little bit. All right. So we've got that through, and now we're going to take a look and see what we've embossed. my first plate, as you can see, cracked, but it still works great. So you can see how cool this is on the back side. It did not cut through, just like I said. Let me put my camera back down. Okay, so you can see how it embosses on the back side. It's kind of cool. So then for the front side, you just carefully peel that back, carefully peel it back. And you can see, look at that. That is just so very awesome. Now, if you happen to have a couple that pop up, don't worry about it because you can glue those little pieces. There's only, I think I saw one that might have popped up. You can glue those back down. But this makes a really, really awesome frame. And then we're going to do a little bit more to it. Well, anyway, I've already done one. Let me show you how it looks, and I've cut it out. This is what they end up looking like. And then we're going to do some more. Work with it, but this is what they look like when they just come out. So they're really, really fun, really, really awesome. Just think of all the things you can do with Sherri Baldy's dies. So I'm going to continue working with this and show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so your next step is you're going to be applying some acrylic white paint. This is light antique white, and you're just going to apply that very lightly over the entire top of your metal or foil frame. And that's all you're going to do is just very lightly paint over the entire frame. And when you get done, it'll end up looking like this, just like this. And then we're going to do the next step. Just wanted you to know what to do next. All right, so this is dried, and so my next step is I'm going to be using Sherri Baldy's Color-ology black pigment powder, and I am going to be painting over the top of this. I'll show you how I'll do just a little bit of it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I've already done the one, so you can see what it looks like. So all I'm doing is I put a little bit of our pigment powder in this cap, the cap that it came with, and I'm adding a little bit of water to it. And then all I'm going to do is just go over this, as you can see. And I'm going to actually rub it back a little bit. And that's your preference in terms of how much you want to rub back on this. Just to give you an idea. I'll do this one section for you so you can see. And this isn't all we're going to do. This is just another step in the process of making our frame. And my goal is for it to have an antique, kind of an antique look to it. So, okay, so then I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to rub that back slightly. And you can see the metal showing up, and it's showing a little bit more of the dimension that we had originally with the metal, but this gives it a little bit more dimension. Let's see if you can see that. My lighting's a little bit different today, but so that's kind of like what it's going to look like, the one section. I did do the other one so you can see. And it's really kind of hard with this light, but you can see how it gives a little bit of dimension to it. I'm going to add more to it and give it more of a antique-y look. So we'll continue on and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so I'm ready for the next step, and what we're going to be using is Distress Ink by Tim Holtz, a Ranger. It's frayed burlap, and all we're going to do is we're going to stamp on top of this what we've already done. Get that all stamped up really well, as you can see. And then we're going to be using the Distress Powder by Tim Holtz that is the weather worn look. And I'm just going to pour that on top of it. I'm going to use another piece of paper so that powder doesn't stick. So you just shake that on it like you normally would do when you're embossing, wet embossing, and then you just tap that off. And then the next step obviously will be to, we're going to go ahead and emboss that on there. The next step will be a clear embossing, and I'm going to go ahead and do this, put the clear embossing, and I'll show you what that final project looks like. Okay, so we're finished with our faux metal frames, and again I wanted to show you, I did give you the wrong information about this particular powder. It is Vintage Photo Distress. I thought it was weather worn because of what it said. It's the weather worn look. So that's what I used first when I embossed, and then I've also used the embossing tinsel bridle, and it's from Ranger also. This is Tim Holtz and it's Ranger. Both of them are Ranger. So those are what I put on top of these when I got all finished and done. So like I said, it looks like it's metal, but it's not. So it's not heavy on your cards or whatever project you want to do. And it's really kind of a fun project. So this is going to be what I'm going to be using next when I show you my next video. So just wanted to give you an idea of what you can do. Don't forget to subscribe, and so you can see more of our videos, and comment and share. All the information will be in the description box and scrolling up above. Thanks so much.